All right, you're on.
Okay. So, this is the Mummification, the Gooder Egypt group, because Megs is gooder. Mummy locations, the mummies were buried in a lot of places other than pyramids. They were some of the different locations included pyramids, decorated underground tubes, and even under the Nile River. So that'd be a nice thing to jot down. And the religious reasons behind the mummification is bodies were buried in the desert sand. They were preserved naturally by drying, and the Egyptian belief, however, necessitated finding an artificially way to preserve the body. And the Egyptians believed in a physical afterlife, so if you were mummified, you didn't have an afterlife, because I guess that was really big for them. And the Old Kingdom way, in the Old Kingdom, a better mummification method had been found. Having observed that drying the flesh preserved it, Egyptians discovered a way to create the drying process artificially with a salt-like chemical called natron. The internal organs were removed as part of the first step. The organs were then dried and preserved using resin, wrapped in linen and stored in sealed chests or jars, known today as canopic jars.
Pharaoh's tombs. Pharaohs were buried in many different places, but not every pharaoh was buried in a pyramid. Only pharaohs from the Old Kingdom were put in pyramids. All the other pharaohs were buried in underground tombs, which leads us to one of our models. Here's a tomb. Ooh, a pharaoh inside of it.
Just walk around with it. Or whoever's talking, another person can carry it. Are you the talking right now?
Yeah, okay.
You want to talk on somebody to carry it for you?
Yeah, so that's an example of an underground tomb that a pharaoh is. That's actually supposed to be King Tut.
Yeah. Oversized canopic jars. Can you see? It's I'm pretty sure. You need stuff. No, you can't know. Yeah.
And Asher, did you say oversized in relation to what's in there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. They weren't as large as that compared. Well, they're not in proportion.
You trip.
All right, go ahead, guys, with the narration of what you're talking about.
Alright.
The materials that the mummy were made of included linen strips, a material similar to cloth, animal fats, beeswax, pistachio resin, glutamine, and several other plant oils. And here's a picture of someone's
What
dead
is it?
body getting wrapped.
Okay, just hang it up then. There's nobody there.
Oh, we don't exactly know how expensive the process was, but considering that the mummies were wrapped in hundreds of yards of linen, and put in intricate gold
You're leaving and
and
coming back.
stone
Yeah.
sarcophaguses. It had to be one of the most expensive things at the time.
We have this currency.
Here's our model of the currency.
It's probably what it looks more like now after hundreds of,
Of
thousands
years.
of years. It probably looks more like that up there.
But now
Back
it's
then.
decayed and turned green.
And
There you
they're
go.
probably rusty. Very rusty.
Okay.
I think that's the last three. Yeah.
Canopic jars.
Aiden, come on back to your seat.
The canopic jars were these big, fat jars, not as big as in Eddy's model, that the organs were put in. These organs were taken out of the body, that were dried, preserved using resin. Wait, what?
You don't have your iPad charging and you're over there misbehaving and disturbing people.
Okay.
Back in your seat.
These organs were taken out of the body and then dried and preserved using resin, wrapped in linen, and stored in sealed chest or jars, known today as canopic jars. The afterlife. Oogly boogly.
Why
Does there have to be a reason?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. After the body was properly mummified and put in the tomb, they would begin their journey to the spiritual afterlife. After they made the journey, their hearts would be weighed. They would be weighed in the scale in the underworld by Osiris. If the feather of truth proved to be heavier than their hearts, they would move on and have an eternal life or whatever. But if their hearts were heavier, they led a bad life, and they would be by a hippo, lion, crocodile. The Egyptians' most important belief was resurrection, the idea that the physical body would act as a portal for the spirit to the next world. To gain a perfect eternal afterlife required an intact body, a mummy, and you would need to have studied the Book of the Dead in the living world. It was believed that Egyptians who weren't pharaohs' best chance for external life was to be buried near his pharaoh's pyramid.
Yay.
So literally being with them would get you to the afterlife. Yeah.
The end.
All right.